have Valas in the red, guys. Welcome to a brand new series, playing as the Franks versus Kingstone in the yellow, playing as Sicilians. Game 1 is, of course, going to be Arabia, and it's very interesting to see Franks yet again being picked. This time, to counter the Franks or to play against the Franks, we've got Sicilians. A very decent civilization in its own right here, and something that can be very scary, especially when the counter units are coming on the field. Valas, the first guy to make the aggressive move, sending a scout forward, looking for some damage early on here. Stable opening from Kingstone as well, so pretty even start.
And
Franks, just see if Horsecollar comes in. Yeah, go ahead.
Franks are typically the civilization trying to go for knights, right? And then you try to go for pikemen. And the thing is, Franks is one of the few civilizations that if both of you are going knight pike, you're actually losing. So that could be something you could be aiming for if you're Sicilians.
Yeah. And the thing is with Sicilians as well is that you get off to a slower start on Empire Wars because you can't really find a way to get Horsecollar early, and we see that when a villager goes down as well here. It can be difficult to find a timing to get Horsecollar, so you end up getting a pretty slow start overall. But definitely a very solid civilization in general here.
Would upgrade over Horsecollar, but we only built one farm so far. Second villager maybe going down? Nope. Being saved. Predictions. I think we didn't do them yet, right?
No predictions done just yet, but I did say 4-2 for Valas to my chat, so that's kind of where I'm at right now in the predictions.
Also was my prediction.
Okay, 4-2 Valas, let's run with it. Amazing walls from Kingstone, by the way. The square walls on top there, you rarely see those square walls. Usually you just go diagonal across. Very interesting stuff there. I'm not even sure why he's going for something like that. Also adding in a range now, so switching it up. Not sure I agree with the range of Sicilians. I think you want to stay on cavalry because you have the option for pikes and the opponent does not. I
often train against easy AI, by the way, so I see those walls quite often. But yeah, maybe you didn't for quite some time. No, and archer range, I don't really see that one being too efficient either, yeah. And the scouts are getting in.
Unfortunately, there was a hole there in the square wall, something you also see with the easy AI in your practice games. And of course, the scouts will get 2 villager kills and just simply run away here. So Kingstone, off to a very rough start here. Valas very aggressive out the opening. Valas, of course, someone that we saw go out against Daniel 4-0. There's actually 2 holes there. There you go. But now coming back in the second qualifier, looking to make a statement. Back home, Valas is going one stable into market approach, not wasting any time with archery ranges, anything like that. He just wants to get the castle age, make some town centers and some knights.
Oh, look at the berries of Kingstone as well. Just like so much work to be done here, and the eco just doesn't feel clean. I think maybe just stable spearmen could have made the game so much easier for him.
Yeah, the whole archery range idea just doesn't make sense. It's like, think about the matchup. You don't want to play crossbow against Franks as Sicilians. If you want to do that, you pick a different civilization. It's very simple.
Like, what are crossbowmen achieving here? Like, against full knights, now trading off against one spearman, but that means the villagers are getting home safe, most likely. Love the position for Valas.
Kingstone trying to get some retaliation damage now. It did force Valas off of the berries. Valas fully walled behind this with just a gap at the front that you can't really pass through. He is on 2 stables as well now, is Valas with the Franks, so it's going to be a really tough hold now for Kingstone, who's yet to pick up. Goes through the scouts though,
Interesting that he didn't try to wall towards the town center. I think could have added another volley. Rather decides to quadruple house everything behind and still get a villager in danger.
Sends the scouts back now. Valas has way more scouts. He's going to be able to clear this one up. Kingstone will just be now clicking up the castle. Just 2 minutes late.
Gate behind this, meaning all scouts will go down. No upgrades on them. What? Okay. Walled behind it, relatively speaking, even the 2 tile gap. Feels like both going for quite some holes in their walls. More spearmen in production for Kingstone.
Yeah, maybe at this point you just go pikemen. It's not the place you want to be though. I often say on the channel, I believe that knights counter pikemen in early castle age, and I've got the stats and the arguments to back it up as well. So I think making pikemen so early is really not the position you want to be in for Kingston. Love the fact that we're seeing an early monastery from Valas, something that's very underrated. Picking up those relics, extremely important.
When are we checking those facts and stats? Your so-called facts.
Yeah, knights countering pikes. Yeah, let's talk about it. So basically, knights win the one-on-one. So having one-on-one, knights will win. Knights are also more mobile, so you get to dictate the pace of the game. Knights also do much better against buildings and against villagers. So raiding and breaking buildings is much more powerful, much more viable. And you can also heal the knights. So taking fights and running back to heal is a very viable option. Healing pikes is not that efficient because if you're low and running away, the knights can snipe them. So knights do counter pikes, and I'd love someone to prove me wrong there in early castle age. And not to even mention the kind of transitions you can do to counter pikes as well, like forward siege, monks that also beat pikes every single time. Yeah, we can continue talking, Nili, if you want.
Okay, continue talking.
Yeah, so basically, pikes also takes a long time to get into. It's a heavy investment with the upgrade. You might need to even invest into a second barracks, which doesn't really help with anything but spear and pike production. I can go on and on about why spears are just not the best option in early castle age.
Okay, then go on.
Yeah, I have went on and on for a while now, but I think I'd rather focus on other things like Kingston adding a second town center at the bottom. I've given more than enough points there, Nili, to feast on.
Okay, so Valas it doesn't squeeze in there at the top. Or can he still go through? No, seems like not.
Oh man.
And yeah, Kingston, obviously with the weaker units, really struggling to find anything here. Now needs to invest into the very costly pikeman upgrade. I'm surprised that he isn't forced into a second barracks here.
A lot of knights from Valas here on the front. The monks will be a very effective counter. I do like that one. Monks, of course.
So monks counter knights?
Yeah, monks do counter knights. It's a very strong counter in early game.
Because they're so mobile, because they have the attack against buildings. And
no, not at all actually. I don't think you're paying attention, honestly. Yeah, you're not following the kind of arguments I'm putting forward here, Nili, unfortunately.
But I'm following your second YouTube channel.
That is true, which is better than Viper, which is nice. I do like that. Monks on the defense here. He could actually get a conversion. Valas completely disrespecting those monks. Oh, he's okay getting converted. Okay. He wants to put the pressure despite the conversion coming in. Kingston does have the pikeman now. He could try to take an engagement or at least force the knights back. We'll see what Valas decides to do. Valas can definitely just fight this if he wants to, or he can run away. His choice is his. And gets a couple conversions on those pikes. Probably not a good fight to take if you're Valas here. But...
He has counter units, like obviously.
He does have counter units, yeah. The knights are countering the pikes right now. But you still have to pick the fight effectively.
3TC versus 3TC. Villagers really close to one another. Kingston tries to build another town center, but doesn't really know where to. Now decides to go out at the left-hand side, but still some villagers with the orientation problems at the right. Yeah, building it on the stone is definitely very solid here. Valas looks like he's going to take a massive fight against the pikemen now. Kingston runs back to the monks, and we're going to see a massive cleanup here for Valas. He takes a massive fight here by the looks of things, but the conversions come in pretty big. Hard to say who's coming out on top in those engagements. Looks like the trades are pretty even so far, though. Left-hand side, some aggression there with the knights as well. Won't really find too much in Valas. Heavy score lead here. Although economy is pretty close, maybe found more kills. And yeah, if I look at the KD, seems like Knight traded off really nicely there. Yeah. And now you get to heal up all the knights, which is just so satisfying. I heard a stat, Nili, I don't know if you agree with it, but someone told me that monks healing knights is equivalent to 20 Vils food gold. Which is, I don't know how correct that is, but the idea is you're getting a ton of value off healing up your knights with the monks. That's the big takeaway there. The quote, monk healing knight is like 20 villagers food gold. That is a quote I've not heard before, no.
I've heard that in my chat the other day, and I was quite surprised.
Great talk.
Yeah. I said I'm not sure, but yeah, it is a really crazy bonus to have. Kills your own pikeman now as Valas. I love that he's holding onto that hill, by the way, and he's mining the stone, so forward castle might be on the cards for him.
Famous quote. So more pike. So we are playing Spearman Mangonel defense here fully. Technically, Franks, if they don't get the forward castle up and don't get to bombard cannons too quickly, Onager Halberdier is something Franks can struggle against.
Yep. Franks do have answers to that composition, but they need to go completely off cavalry, which is already a big win to get as a civilized Sicilians, forcing the Franks off cavalry, especially when they're so heavily committed in Castle Age here. Valas, though, I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to continue committing in Castle Age. I think he wants to go up to Imp and then secure a forward castle at that point to then get some trebs out early. That's the kind of strategy he's looking for right now, and his idea is just to hold on to this hill until he manages to get that. For Kingstone, he probably just needs to take a big fight at some point here.
Valas knows, okay, I'm stopping the expansion there as well, and he feels that hill is so good. Click to Imperial Age now. Seems like it's queued behind some villagers, though. Oh, yeah.
Villagers are coming forward very soon. Villagers are coming forward very soon for Valas.
Mangonel hits. Oh, big crowd attacks. Oh, actually misses mainly.
Yeah. This is the first engagement, and now pikes tend to be pretty solid because you've got quite a few of them. Big Mangonel shots from Kingstone. He goes 2 for 0 so far. Goes for the third, 3 for 0 on the Mangonel trades. What a fight for Kingstone. That's as good as it gets, pretty much.
What? Pikes are countering knights? How is that an option?
Or countering knights, believe it or not, Nili. But this is exactly what I said. In early Castle Age, pikes are losing. In late Castle Age, pikes are winning. It's just how it goes here. And Valas, he
could be
didn't
a kill of his own castle. Mangonel shoots. Okay, no, didn't even damage.
Yeah. But then he deleted the castle, and he's thinking of doing it elsewhere. Okay, he sees the massive hill. Look at the hills in the center, by the way, Nili. There's a lot of hills there.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And it's tough for me with capture rates to see which one is the highest if we ever get into a scenario. But just feels like Kingstone has the control for now. But obviously, imp timing will be way later. Double castle here for the defense. And Valas stays on knights. So for now, Halberdiers is #1 choice. I think this is the spot where pro players in 2 years will fully wall the map with stone walls. But people don't realize how good stone walls are.
Yeah. It's something that's, I don't know if you know Poison, Darcy. He always talks about it in my chats. He's always going on and on.
BSK Poison?
Yes, that's the one, Nili. Legend. That's what I'm saying, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So he's always talking about how stone walls are overpowered on the sides and stuff.
He has been talking about it for 22 years now.
Yeah. I actually listen to a lot of the things he says as well, because I think he's read about a lot of the strategy. A lot of the strategy he tends to bring.
He was writing like nomad guides in 2001.
Yeah.
So he has to be old.
He coached me on Nomad as well when I was playing the Nations Cup for Team Canada. I was a Huns only player. Huns were only. I didn't play anything else. I got my first Nomad coaching from him, and I got the build that I do to this day, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Pikeman mainly for Kingstone, and Valas, he's thinking on purely cavalry here. Interesting decision. This is not how a player like Jordan would play it out as the Franks. I think a player like Jordan would be already switching to hand cannoneer. Don't you agree? It's just switching to a counter unit.
I would love to see that, yeah. Just get chemistry very early. Counterattack is something I love. And, well, you're not really getting threatened too much at the front, right? Some idle villagers are, some villagers are getting idled. But you don't need to rush to the counter.
Big raid from Valas, though. That was crazy. And one thing about the counter unit, though, Sicilians are receiving less damage from those hand cannoneer shots. So maybe it's an idea to go throwing axemen this game instead as a pike counter. But nonetheless, the cavalry raids seems to be just too much. And although Kingstone had the idea to stonewall at some point here, Nili, he was way too slow to get it done. GG, well played.
Ooh. Well, what a dominant performance. And it felt like Kingstone could never really free himself from all the aggression. Basically from like minute 4 on. Yeah, like the small walls, archery range that never produced archers of value, and then had to play the pikeman defense, tried to move out, but it was too tricky, and really clean game by Valas.
Yeah, and if you think about it, Valas even took the worst fight imaginable on that hill. Like, Kingston got, I would say, a lucky fight. Like, Valas messed up quite heavily, and still Kingston had very little chances to come back and to win the game. So well played there to Valas. Takes game 1 with the Franks. We saw them lose last series on Arabia. This time they're taking the win here against Sicilians. Taking a look at the stats now. We see military heavily in favor of Valas with the KD. 5,000 more resources in the bank for Valas as well. So combining that with the 4 relics he had, great performance.
Way better matchup for Franks as well, though, we have to say, right? Teutons feel like a counter to the melee units, and Sicilians, they're a civilization that basically hopes that the opponent is going for counter units, or denies them going for counter units. But Franks, they are the one dictating. They're not going counter units.
So hopping in now, we've got game number 2 between Valas and Kingston. Valas in the red as the Cumans. So once again, Cumans, man, on enclosed, and then Kingston in the yellow as Berbers. Man, we've seen this same matchup in the last series, but on a different map. How does it play out on this map here on enclosed? Let's take a look and see. It's running very slow for some reason.
Could it be a cancel or anything? Maybe not. Archer range opening for Kingston. Double archer range opening for Valas here. Heavily on gold now, our player from Finland. And we see a second archer range by Kingston. So we'll match that. Interesting.
Okay, let's take a look here. So 2 archer ranges from Cumans, as you said. I'm not sure about going double range as Berbers, though. I mean, as you said, matching it is interesting if you can expect it to come. I don't know if Kingston actually spotted it. Indeed, he did. But I think Berbers don't want to play too much on archers or on range units in general.
Kills all the deer. Okay. I actually don't mind that at all. 3 times 140 food gone.
Am I behind? Oh, I didn't catch that. I'm just catching up right now. Yeah, I see now.
We're at 4 minutes. KD is 2 units and 4 deer.
Yeah, and 4 deer, I like it. Okay, perfect. So I'm back up to speed now. Okay, so it's going to be archers and skirmishers to defend for Kingston. And he's going to be chasing away the archers from Valas here. Second TC and Horse Collar now done for Valas. I don't know, it just feels like Cumans having the second TC and having the aggression feels like the perfect place to be in.
I expect a lot of idle TC time.
Okay.
Well, actually, no.
Really?
He has so much, he has so much on the berries. Farms
and
are now
Buffalo
coming in.
as well, yeah.
Okay, yeah, actually, he will be fine. Then Castle Age time just will be late.
But I love how Valas is actually playing this one out. He's got 7 on gold only, so he actually has really good macro. We've seen Dark play it earlier. Dark had way too much on gold. So this time Valas is playing it a lot better in terms of economy balance back home. And for Kingston now, he's got archers, skirms, and looking for Castle Age at the moment. Has the market as well. I can expect him to sell stone potentially as well.
And how do you play it then? Try to make something happen with the skirm crossbow timing, or do you actually go for knights?
Yeah, a great question. I think if you're on double range, you probably should just stick to archers, but that feels so backwards with Berbers because you're not using your best bonus here. So maybe you go for a switch to knights now, or crossbow into knights. So that kind of approach can be also decent. Let's see what he decides to go for.
To clear up the archers first. Nice pick off there. And already solid numbers for Valas at home. But the archers went in a bit too deep here.
That was so weird. Why did he not shoot?
I wanted to save the numbers. You
definitely just take a shot there, right? If you're gonna already walk in that close, you just take a shot, then you walk back. At least get some trade backs. Really weird play from Kingston here so far. But nonetheless, he will find a clear up on the archers with the skirms eventually here. And behind this, he is not adding a single stable just yet.
Okay, then the question is, what are we doing? Is it forward siege workshop? Okay, now a stable.
Now stable, okay.
Could be forward siege. Could be ballistics.
No, I don't think he's committing to range units. He stopped. Oh, he's still making archers. Actually, I was gonna say he stopped production, but he's still making it.
Sick with 4, right? 4 archers and he continues.
4 archers and he continues. So it's gonna be a crossbow for sure. I don't know about ballistics just yet though. I personally don't like the idea. He's switching now to double stable and forward villager. So it's gonna be an all in. It's gonna be crossbow, knights, and siege.
I don't mind it.
Not sure how that plays out.
We'll finish the. Will you see the archers at the bottom? I think he barely missed them.
Oh, that's a really.
But he knows
really
that they have to be there. Split your
really
skirms, my friend. Sends one back? No. Thinks about. Oh, that's so close.
And Valas can wait there for as long as he wants right now, actually, because Kingstone's guard will get lower and lower. But Kingstone actually does find it now with the skirmishes he kept back there. I guess he had a feeling that something was going on there. He saw them earlier. We'll bring now his skirms back home to defend. And now we're seeing the forward siege, crossbow coming in. No resources for Bodkin. He's prioritizing bowsaw here, and he's now following it up with knight production. Valas does find 1 villager kill so far on this little archer raid. We'll kill a second one as well.
And still has archers at home, which is a bit surprising. Dances there against the crossbows. Lots of either villager time forced. And now the question... We have to open Mangonel here, right?
Yeah, you open Mangonel and you probably need a monastery to go with monks shortly after as well. Like 1 Mangonel into monastery probably is the play. Because you know that Cumans are going to be on unstable units here. I think Valas could consider selling the 100 stone if he needs to as well. He does have the market already up there. Yeah, and now we're seeing the monastery. The thing is, Kingstone is not doing a whole lot with his aggression. Like, what are those crossbows even accomplishing right now?
They need to be closer to the gold. 4 knights out, and actually the main base is not walled. Monastery inside. Oh, I'm not sure if I like that.
Mangonel coming out now as well. He's defending with a few archers right now. Goes in very deep. He's trying to trade against the crossbows. Kingstone with the Mangonel shot kind of graces his knights a little bit. 20-vil lead for the Cuman players, getting +2 knights. Can he hold this position? Monk out will be crucial. Kingstone's house. That's going to really delay his push. 2 knights go in for the Mangonel. Can't quite get that. Big moves from both players here.
And only building the house with 1 single villager there at the front. Mangonel now in TC range as well. I'm not sure if I like this one.
The gold.
Ooh, how's the gold income looking now? 0 villagers on gold.
Yeah, that's all his gold. This is a really big moment for Kingstone. If he holds this position and just denies the gold, that's the win condition right here. Valas dives in for the Mangonel though. He's had enough. The repair is coming. The monk is on its way as well here. Oh, Valas, beautiful play. He runs away the low HP knights. Loses 0 knights, Nili.
Oh, that should not happen. And if he wasn't housed, he would have 1, maybe even 2 monks now.
Yeah, it's a really big difference there. He did lose 1 knight on the retreat though. Conversion from Valas comes in. It doesn't quite land it though. Another Mangonel is on the cards now. And now we have the monk to defend it, so now it gets a little bit more tricky. Monk Mangonel with a lot of gold units in front. That's a dangerous push for anyone to stop. Cumans do have the 20-vil lead so far. I would probably advise Valas to sell some wood right now. Sell some wood and go into some crazy knight production because you need to win this next fight or else things get dicey. But you win 1 fight and you win the game. It's the situation. 2 more vils down on the gold.
9 vils down already against only 3 there at the other side. Monks now trying to aim for some more conversions. Big fight.
Wait, what? Kingstone was late on the conversions here. The Mangonel goes down. Kingstone now switching to camels here with the Berbers. Camels are not bad, but to attack, they're a bit awkward.
Has the aggressor converted villager there, apparently, going forward, or what is happening? No, she just went wild. And dies to the town center. No more repair on Mangonel's possible. No more houses.
No, this is really bad. Yeah, this is really bad.
Sends another villager forward.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. You need the forward villager because repairing the Mangonel is such a crucial idea. Building more forward production, you just need to have it to make the push smooth. A lot of defensive options from Valas now coming out. He's switching to double ranges as well. I actually hate the double range, by the way. I think siege is much better, but maybe he's thinking he needs an answer to camels. I think going your own camels is much better. Now it's tower.
He already has double archer range. I don't think he built anything. The opening.
Before. My bad. That's true. He is going for a defensive tower, though. I do think he's panicking a little bit here. My bad on the archer call, though. He's not making anything from those ranges.
Tower now pretty nice. And that's a finished tower. honestly, I've seen it first from Villese, I've seen it from Max last week, and now I see it from Valas. That kind of indicates that he's training with them, to me.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen someone else do it.
You know, I've tried to make towers like that, but I've found that I actually don't like them, by the way. I don't think they're that good. That's my personal opinion, though. Not sure how they play out here, but it just feels like they don't guard the town center enough to make it worth it. But let's see. Might get bonking on that to help it out as well a little bit. Valas did add a third town center, by the way, and he's got gold access at the back now. That's a very big deal. You see the score getting more and more for Valas as time goes on because of that villager lead. But the push is still stronger than ever now, with more and more monks coming into the battle as well.
What do we think? What is resource collected right now? I will check it. It's 2.5k or 2.2k more for... I forgot.
Valas.
For Valas, okay, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, he's up 2k resources, but he's got the, he's spending a lot of wood on repairs, and he's got more expensive knights. So it's hard to say who's exactly winning here. But I know for sure that if Kingstone loses this push, or he's not able to do enough damage, he will lose the game. Mango trades.
Nothing happening. Repair, obviously easier for the defender. Oh, now some camels diving in there. Don't like that one too much.
Yeah, you can't give away conversions like that for free here. 2 camels over to Valas' side.
What are we thinking about pushing the main base?
I think he should be just fighting the houses while he waits, That could be nice. Just kill the houses while you wait. Big engagement on the front, though. Looks like they've had enough of waiting. Magano shots. Looks like Kingstone dodges out on that one. Loses it to the tower or the town center, though. Valas is taking better trades so far, and the knights from Valas are so low. He's going to heal all those up. I don't like the camel edition from Kingstone. I think it's so bad.
Whoa, killed two of his own units.
Yeah, it's not good. 2 units of his own mangonel. He got converted a couple units earlier. His push is fizzling out so hard right now, it seems.
Upgrades on those knights. +1 defense for Kingstone. +1/+2 for Valas.
Yep. Valas' units, better units. He's taking better trades, and he's got the better economy. The only thing that Kingstone has an advantage is the position. 1 for 1 on the mangonel trades now.
I think I would have liked the ram at the bottom. Kill those 8 houses.
Yeah. And also threaten to run in with a couple knights to raid. That's something that people don't do when they push. They only push on one side. Force pressure, raid with a couple units. It's not going to change your push. It's going to allow your opponents, or it's going to force your opponent rather to react, rather than just wait for your one army to do something. You want to make the game messy when you're attacking and make it hard for the defender.
Barracks now being added by Valas. Goes for pikemen defense.
Goes for pikes? Really? You need pikes? No way.
100 villagers.
He doesn't have a ton of villas right now.
All the upgrades in the world for his knights. Big mangonel shots, but obviously solid HP on knights.
I can see the reasoning behind pikeman switch, but I personally hate it. I think it's super unnecessary here, and it just kind of forces you to play with an immobile army when you have a strong mobile army to work with nonetheless.
I think it makes sense if he gets to 15 and then counterattacks with his knights.
Oh, yeah. Like what we saw Jordan do earlier. Yeah, that can definitely work. Yeah, counterattack with the knights, use the pikes to defend for sure.
Would love to see Kingstone behind this actually grab all the relics. Should be not really micro intense. Already has the monastery. Could have used one of those monks maybe, but that's me being crazy for relics as well.
Yeah, I think it depends because sometimes you're focusing too much on the push. You don't have the APM to win, and like if you get 3 relics to 2, you're not going to win the game off that. So
interesting quote.
4 TC from Kingstone now. So he's going to try to catch up with Vil counts now. Oh my god. 1 for 0 trade.
I think just sending in 1 knight could be annoying at the bottom, no? It's obviously will get either converted or cleared up, but just like force a reaction a bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Oh, monks out of position. Are you trying to force this one? No, you can't.
Yeah, you cannot fight that. In fact, Valas can actually force this one right now on the way back here because Kingstone, Kingstone's just running away. You get cleaned up every time here. Yep.
And now the pikemen are looking good. Knights are pushing this one away. Knights even ready for the counterattack at the bottom.
Yep.
Valas looks just so unimpressed by this aggression.
The thing is, Kingston is like trying to save the Imperial Age now, which is not a bad idea. Because keep in mind, if he gets the Camel Archers now, all of a sudden, the game is flipped on its head. Because he's down in economy, but he's got a very strong unit. It's a completely different game. He's up to Imperial Age right now as well, faster than Valas. But Valas has a massive window now with a very strong army. He's gonna get a castle up top now to secure the top golds and stones. And it looks like Kingston sent his camels back to deal with those raids now.
Second stone upgrade. The other day I did the math. If you value every resource equally, which obviously is a big assumption, you need to mine over 2.3k stone for it to break even.
Okay. So it really is the kind of upgrade that you get only when you're desperate for stone and food, and wood is not worth too much for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Kingston, by the way, great raids with the knights there. It almost felt like he got his best damage when he actually went for the raid instead of waiting at that one immobile push, that one kind of siege slow push. The raids are something that people need to go for more often when they're playing with knights. You don't need to camp it around your siege with all your knights. Send in a few, get those raids in. Defensive camels now as well. I actually love how Kingston's playing this one right now. I actually think he's in a better position. He's down Villese, yes, but he's got the better civ for late game. And he's setting up the late game in a great fashion.
If you had a castle at the right-hand side, I could see it. It's now still going for more stone. That push through the center is not too scary, I agree with you.
Yeah. Like pikes and knights are obviously solid against camels here, but once camel archers come out, we just wall a little bit. There's no siege here, there's no threat of a forward castle. Valas, way too much gold in the bank right now. He needs to prioritize Imperial Age. He's just falling further and further behind the more he stays in Castle Age. Not saying that Valas is losing, but he's definitely behind in development at the moment.
Market deals could be so easy there for sure. Camel archers could really benefit from ballistics, still not on the way. And I think the defense will be doable for Kingston. The game will stabilize. Give me your over-under. How long is this game going to take?
I think it's gonna go late. I would say it's probably gonna go towards the time limit or close to it, like over an hour to the time limit.
Sick.
Yeah. Because Kingston's behind, but he's got the better units, so he's gonna try to stall. Valas is ahead, but he's behind in development and can't find his right composition just yet. So we'll see how it ends up playing out, but I can see this game really stalling out as Kingston tries to set up the perfect composition and Valas tries to find some sort of composition that he can then use. And relic count, it's 2-0 right now for Valas, but Kingston has a chance to pick up a couple close to his base as well now.
And also relic count on a map where you have multiple massive gold spots, not that important compared to Arabia, for example.
Yeah, and especially when you consider the time limits. Like, relics only kick in past like an hour usually, but like if they kick in for 15 minutes, I don't know if that's enough to make or break the game on something like Empire Wars. So don't get me wrong, relics are still important. I love picking up relics here, but it's like you said, it's not exactly the deciding factor with so much gold to fight over here. Camelot is moving forward from Kingston, looking for something to do. We'll snipe the Mangonel quite easily here. There it is. Gets away though barely.
You have to think about, though, you skip a lot of time, so you pick up the relics a bit earlier. So time limit would be like 1 hour 27 minutes RM time.
That is true.
And then you would still heavily focus on relics.
Yeah, that is true. So you get 30 minutes worth of time, which definitely is in favor of the relic player now. Kingston with the score lead again. He dropped it for a while, but now he's back with it. And now all the vill lead that Valas got in Castle Age, the economy lead, it's kind of irrelevant right now because both players are fully boomed. Both players have a good amount of resources to play with, and it's going to come down to who's got the stronger composition, where Berbers now tend to shine. Halberdier upgrade coming in now for Valas. Not sure if I agree with the Halberdier choice in general here, but maybe just preparing an answer to Heavy Camel. Casbah as a technology coming in for Kingston, and the Camel Archer raids are pretty crazy here, Nili.
Pretty good for Kingston. All his teammates, all their castles are working faster now.
Yeah, exactly, including himself, which is nice.
Nice.
He's now getting Maghreb camels and thumb ring, so he's got pretty good upgrades on these camel archers coming in.
And really happy to see Maghreb camel. Didn't Jordan have a T90 league game against someone for 2 hours and they didn't do Maghreb camel?
I don't remember that. It's possible. Say my name? Was it the Berber game? Say my name?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I remember the long game there. Yeah, it's a really good upgrade actually. It just, and you know what? Berserker's healing and like the Berserker gang, I don't think that's a good upgrade because a melee unit healing doesn't really matter that much, but a range unit healing is really strong because they're going to be at the back line. So when they do take, the rare bit of damage, you just heal it back up, so you're always full HP, which is amazing in my opinion.
4th grade Nili thought Berserk had to be the best unit in the game because it's 2 units in one, fighting and healing.
Yeah. We were obsessed with infinite stuff back in the day, I felt like as well. Like relics were just like infinite gold, it's so amazing. Infinite healing seemed overpowered. Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you play a 102-hour game, healing like that could actually matter.
Yeah, 100%. Big Cavalier swing from Valas, by the way. But we've got Heavy Camel and Camel Archer on the field for Kingston. Double gold composition. And you might think this might be a bit of an overinvestment, but there's a ton of gold on this map. So it just comes in at the perfect time to deal with the Cavalier, and you can definitely afford it. Tons of castles for Kingston. Look at that. 4 castles across the field. Love his setup here going into late game.
I don't like that Valas is raiding here. What happens even if you get like the ideal raids and kill 30 villages? How can that matter in a spot where no one can push? There's no real development. I think you should rather aim for paladins.
I agree with you, but at the same time, what else can he do? Because he aims for paladin, but in the meantime, Kingston then just secures the whole map. Valas is using that raid as momentum now to get the trebs on the top side. Can't fault him for that. It's not the worst idea in the world. Because even Paladin doesn't really win him the late game, right? Camel Archer with Heavy Camel should still be much stronger than Paladin Halb here.
Probably. Camel Archer will be interesting. Oh man. I'm a bit scared for Valas here. How can he dictate fights?
He basically can't. He's getting Paladin right now, but...
Ooh, Onager cut through the center. And Paladin.
But there's no economy in the center. That's 20 farms and 10 wood villagers.
Just cut all the wood and play for Paladin.
There's wood on the sides. I'm not convinced. I don't think it does as much as you think it does. Like there's wood on the sides that's a decent amount. Remember, there's that time limit. So running out of wood, is that really going to happen in 75 minutes? That's 40 minutes from now. I think there's more than enough wood on the outside to be fine. I don't think Onager cuts the play, bro.
Okay.
Maybe the best thing he has, but I don't think it does as much as you think. And right now, the Camel Archers are just showing their worth. They're whittling away the Cavalier and the Halberdier.
Bombard Cannon now added as well. So some people might think, okay, maybe Onager SO could have been an option there for the Cuman player against the Camel Archer. Now with Bombard Cannons on the field, not an option anymore.
Yep. And now maybe Valas just goes for this fight, but Kingston is more than happy to take this. The Heavy Camel, there's not enough Halbs to deal with them. The Camel Archer is behind, the castle there as well with the DPS. An absolute massacre here. Valas is completely dead on that fight. How does he stop this force now coming all the way back to his base? Holy moly. Great fight there for Kingston.
Ooh, was that Kingston's plan all along? By the way, what is this wall at the bottom?
Wait.
Palisade wall? Like, is he trying to... By the way, he still didn't pick up those 2 relics, but...
I don't think that wall does anything, I'm not gonna lie.
He walls? And the palisade and now some stone walls?
What? But what is he trying to wall? He's trying to wall like his base? That's so unnecessary, I feel. I guess he's trying to wall his main base, but like... You only got 20-30 vills there. It's not that important. You have 153 vills total. That place is just 30 vills and you got 2 TCs to defend it. Nah, that's a bit over-ambitious there. Probably not needed. But fights at the front are going constantly towards Kingston's favor, so maybe he's got the extra time to go for those plays. By the way, Siege Ram coming out for Valas, so not Onagers, but Rams instead. Is that enough to force the fight onto Berbers with maybe Halb and Ram?
Something that's completely overlooked. Technically, Berbers have fully upgraded champions as well, which would be the answer to it, but very rarely do we see Berbers actually aiming for that.
Yeah, you can also go for bomber cannons to whittle down the Rams as well. Not the greatest thing, but not too bad. Onager is also an option to counter the Rams. And then just playing Hussar to snipe the Rams, despite there being Halbs, is an option as well. Let's see the fight now, though, for Valas. The Halbs, when they get close, do massive damage here. Camels go forward to snipe the Trebuchets. It's not so clear who's winning these fights. Valas takes an amazing trade there, man.
I agree. Found lots of camel kills. Camel archer number down to 19. Some more in the queue now. But that was nice for Valas.
That was definitely a big slip. I love that Kingstone got the Hussar upgrade as well. It's not just me saying that, but the Hussar will really help in getting some raids in, because that's the one thing missing from Kingstone's strategy right now. He's got an amazing push, he's got an amazing army composition, but some raids definitely help to throw off your opponent here. Valas, though, can only really fight in one area because he needs the mix of Paladin and Halberdier to do anything. And you can't really afford to raid with Paladin, you're just throwing gold units at that point. Is taking into light cav and guilds, though, playing the long game here.
Push at the right-hand side, just took out an outpost. Could have had some momentum there with the Halberdiers to actually take out the castle. And then all the other 3 castles are on the left-hand side. And suddenly he's really open. Kingstone, that is.
Yeah, I can see that working. It just comes down to how strong this ramp push will be. Kingstone has to react on this right-hand side. He's going to pick up murder holes. Murder holes is a bit of a double-edged sword versus rams because the castle tends to focus fire the rams underneath and nothing else, which is interesting. Push on the left-hand side now for Kingstone. He does have the bomber cannon. He does have the camels and the camel archer. Big fight going down. Hard to tell who's winning these fights when the melee units come in.
Tricky. This should be gold efficient here. Camel archers are trying to microwave. It feels like he wants to block with the camel archer, but then it just feels like he's not fighting back at all.
Yeah. He's not getting as much shots as he wants to get off there. Valas is hiding the halberdier behind the paladin beautifully, by the way. I don't know if you realized, but it's always the paladin going in first, and then right behind him is the halbs. Perfect timing.
Tricky. Also, we were lacking some upgrades. Only now the camel hussar are fully upgraded. Still lacking 1 armor upgrade for the camel archers.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Not so much the armor on the camel archer, but the attack on the camels, because we want to whittle down those melee units as fast as possible here. The push on the right-hand side, by the way, the bottom, the siege push that Valas was going for kind of fizzled out. It's just too hard to push with siege ram and halbs without anything else there. Maybe we see a Hussar switch for Valas to get some crazy raids in.
Tricky stuff. Right hand side push was not as exciting as I was hoping for.
Yeah. We thought it had some potential, but right now it feels like it's just soaking up Valas' population. It's not amounting to a whole lot. 3 relics, by the way, for Valas. 0 for Kingstone, so if relics are ever mattering, giving an advantage here to Valas. Valas is massing a lot of halberdier Hussar tech coming in as well now. That's going to give him a very spammable unit. Both players at 135 villagers, by the way. So they're supporting some pretty good economies here for their units.
Hussars trying to slip through here. Some losing their lives. Jumping for the trap. I don't think that will be successful. Archers are moving forward.
Yeah.
Market prices surprisingly good still.
Which I'm surprised, considering how much gold, how much food, Valas has. Buying some gold might not be the worst idea in the world here. Hussar raids on the bottom push now. Kingstone is too cute with it. He's walling in a mangonel to keep the castle up. Like,
love it.
Nice.
I love it.
It's nice, but okay, fair. It just feels like it's taking up his attention, though, no?
Not anymore.
Well, it will keep the castle up, though. Yeah, that's a fan favorite move right there. What do you guys think about that, chat?
I love it.
Yeah.
I thought about this, also 4-year-old me, not 4-year-old, 4th grader me.
Yeah.
To just put like onagers around on the map and just wall them in, like box them in. And every single time the opponent tries to run through, he can't attack the onager and I can shoot at him.
Yeah. Good thing the opponent can never have a single range unit there.
That was something I didn't consider at that time.
Yeah. But no, actually, onagers counter range units. So you're not even worried about that, to be fair.
My best friend liked to play Britons.
Oh yeah, that would be very awkward then. Hussars and Paladin.
Then he wasn't my best friend anymore.
That's also fair enough, yeah. My brother liked to play Britons. He wasn't my brother anymore after that.
Oh.
Forward castle now from Kingstone coming forward, by the way.
Sounds like meme material. By the way,
What's
the 2 mangonel... He opened to add a second mangonel and brought it in again.
I'm telling you, it's so cute. Like,
love it.
It's the kind of thing I'd never go for just because I feel like there's better things to focus on. But now that I see it, it's obviously like a solid option. Like if you just appear with this, it's obviously very strong. It's hard to break that castle now. Yeah. Big fights on the top here. Valas here, the score is getting further and further from him. Kingstone now has a perfect composition with a ton of military. He dropped his build count by about 10. That gives him more chances for military. And something that I want to talk about here a little bit. Having a lot of military indirectly gives you an economy advantage in the late game because you take better trades, thus putting you further ahead of your opponent in terms of resources on the field. So getting more pop for military is sometimes a really good idea when you have such a strong military.
Yeah. For example, you often see nowadays Draken going for 140 and then rapidly leads like 40 to have one crazy imp army and then try to snowball from there. Rubenstock a master of that as well, and other players are really adjusting to that quite nice as well. Plus, obviously, camel archers that are healing themselves, beautiful as well to play with really high numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get a lot of value from having a lot of military on the field. It actually ends up being a very good economical choice, having less vills in some cases here. Fortified wall coming in for Kingstone. He's really taking the time now to make sure that Valas cannot push. Valas is trying to push on the bottom here. He can't go for the castle. Decides to go for the stone walls instead of the palisade walls. Interesting on the bottom there.
No, the mangled! Retreat! Behind walls!
Wall them back in!
Too risky!
Top side.
I don't care about top side.
Camel archers. Yeah, you want to watch the bottom, but the Mangonels are totally fine here. Fortified wall comes in as well. Yeah, and Nili, unfortunately, one of the Mangonels went down. There you go.
You told me to not look anymore.
Well, should not have listened, bro. I told you not to wall in the Mangonels as well. And look at that, he lost one. Kingstone now with a massive army here. Constantly has a massive army, by the way, because he's not losing the camel archers very often. And he's always able to replenish the melee units, the hussars and camels. They're quite cheap for him. Relics no longer a factor now for Valas. He's lost the monastery. And a beautiful forward castle in the middle of Valas' economy here. Kingstone looking to take this one home. In your face castle there. Love to see that one as he continues to push in on the top side. Valas crumbling at 160 pop right now.
Oh, that's a ballsy castle. 0 versus 0 relics now as well. I'm a bit disappointed that Kingstone never picked up the other two.
Yeah, I feel like he should have.
Solid. What? How many kills does that? What? This camel archer group has 180 kills combined.
Wow.
And rising.
Wow. Yeah, look at that. 183 kills, and it's less than 40 camel archers. It's not like it's 60. It's less than 40 camel archers, which is not a small number, but they're just so strong. They have 8 base damage, by the way. 8 base damage plus an attack bonus versus any cavalry archer. So it's an amazing unit, honestly. It's so strong in the late games.
Forward monastery, Kingstone. This is getting you disqualified in some tournaments.
I actually like the idea of letting your opponent pick up the relics. You go for a timing push and then you take all the relics one shot. I feel like it's an idea that isn't used enough, but it's hard to predict that because your opponent sometimes can defend the relics very nicely.
Are you talking about maybe a meadow game against Slam?
Oh, I did play that the other day, yeah.
Oh, wasn't that one of the best games ever?
No, it wasn't, no.
Okay.
Did I say that?
No, but had a nice highlight scene.
Yeah, it had some nice plays, yeah, definitely just going for the relic heist, as meme as it seems sometimes, it's actually really impactful because it's a big swing. Like, your opponent loses the relics, you gain them. Like, how does Valas ever win now? He's playing against 3 relic Berbers all of a sudden. So as the game goes on,
he can steal the 2 relics from the other side. Where are they?
That is true, yeah.
What?
Yeah, where did they go? Oh, what? One of them's closer to Valas. He moved it.
And
the other one's still near the castle. Yeah.
So much focus on that.
Yeah. Camel just continuing to move forward here. Hussars constantly raiding. Valas now, for the first time, I feel like he's struggling on food economy here and not just on the gold departments. And down to 28 farms right now, not looking too hot. 170 pop though, still has a massive army here. Can he make something happen at the top side and push back here?
Let's see, Khmer just need to micro. As you mentioned earlier, once the halberdiers close the distance, it gets tricky. Needs to micro away from this one. Uh-oh, some losses.
That group has 226 kills now.
I was at 240, so some generals were lost there.
Yeah, some of the
Although
veterans in the
generals
army-
actually never do anything, right? They just send
yeah,
other people.
they just
So-
command. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's- yeah. Although actually, some generals do fight actually in the armies, but most of them don't.
Really? Not
Yeah,
nowadays
so-
anymore, do they?
Nowadays, no, but the fighting is different nowadays. Nowadays, the whole fighting is just looking for a place to it's like an operation. It's not like a war. At least it feels that way right now. It's a lot more calculated. Before it's like let's meet and fight. I don't know. I don't know much about war, but it feels
Plays
like
a war
these days-
game 8 hours every day, doesn't know much about war.
I don't play a war game. I play Age of Empires. It's MVL who's playing a war game.
Okay.
But
When it comes to
yeah,
stealing.
no. I do know that back in the day, some of the generals did fight in the front line sometimes of the battles.
I think you watched too much Lord of the Rings.
Maybe, man, but no, I do know
Was it
some
that?
history. I don't know if you know him, Khalid ibn Walid. It's an Arabic leader back in the day. He used to fight front line of every fight. A
Sick.
master tactician as well. Yeah, so there's some nice history there. Anyways, Kingston takes the game, man, defeating Cumans as well. As if we've been kind of hyping for good reason, but maybe this is the counter.
Nice,
well played,
nice
well
stuff.
played. Yeah. I'd like to see this though. I'd like to see answers to Cumans as well.
Yeah, feels like it. And it's not like Cumans played this so horribly wrong, right?
I mean,
Some timing was missed there. I think more
I feel
counterattacks could have happened.
yeah. Remember when he went for the pike switch? He was missing the counterattack there. Like at the time where before Kingston goes back, just go for a counterattack, catch him off guard. Something could have happened there. But it's hard to say in game when there's so much pressure. But this gives me a new light on Cumans, eh? Cumans losing late game versus Berbers, even if they're up 20 villas, you don't care. It adds another layer of complexity to the matchups and the civilizations, honestly.
Nice. And the thing is, the complexity was always there. We are only now exploring it.
Yeah, exactly. Valas going for Hindustani on this map after all, and it's going to be Kingston with the Chinese, so no Britons whatsoever here. Hindustani known for their camels. Chinese, a pretty well-rounded civilization here. What do you think of the matchup, Millie? What's going to go down in this game?
I hate Chinese.
You think they're a bad civ?
I don't see why we're picking them on Empire Wars. And I could not be convinced by now.
I tend to agree. I think it's the perfect example of a civilization that gets very little bonuses and it's just well-rounded. Like it's just a well-rounded civilization where you get no power spikes with it, and you don't get anything special over your opponent. You just get some small savings here and there, and it doesn't feel very strong. I don't hate it necessarily, but I just don't think it's a most valuable pick.
I think Chinese are as valuable as Kingston's walls at the top.
Which are not doing a whole lot. That is true. Walling out the gray area. I mean, you never know what kind of transfer comes through there. I guess.
I actually
But
wanted that once. A map, but I talked to map scripters and apparently it was not possible back then. But I asked like 3-4 years ago. I think I asked in HD times, not DE times, where basically if you leave the left-hand side of the map, you spawn back at the right-hand side.
That's terrible.
I think it's
That's terrible.
really good.
That would be so trippy. I hate
think
it.
it's genius.
But if you go on, like, what if you go left and then you go back on the right? Like, you just keep going back over.
Yeah.
You keep teleporting.
Yeah. But the army can chase you.
Yeah, that's terrible. I hate it.
It would end all this. It was a phase where everyone was walled at minute 11. And then you needed to act wall a bit more. Archer rush distance is shorter. Laming is easier.
That's so dumb because you just make the archer ranges at the back of your base, and then you're just disappearing from the fog, and then you're appearing at the guy's base. That's so stupid.
Yeah, but they have a short distance as well. You need scouting, you need outposts.
The middle of the map is useless. You just go from the outside.
It's as useful as the side.
No. The side is way more useful early game. Why would you ever go for the middle?
Okay, shorter distance. Well, middle. Maybe you put extra resources there. Play Gold Rush with this.
Nah, that's a terrible idea, bro.
Gold Rush with the flat Earth theory.
Nah, it's terrible. Cause just looking at how that would look on your screen, like you move on the outside and then they teleport on the other side. You have to then like go towards them.
Yeah, oh, press a hotkey to go to army.
Yeah, press hotkey to go to army, then go back over. It's gonna be so trippy. There's no way.
Okay.
Terrible.
I will not invite you to my show match.
Okay, no problem. I won't be. I won't be missing out on anything. I might cast it though, just to rub it in your face.
Thanks for the promotion.
No problem. I'll cast it, but I'm gonna talk trash the whole time, so it's gonna be negative promotion.
Nice. So like your average AoE4 stream.
I was a very, very wholesome AoE4 streamer when I streamed that game.
Okay. So you were not.
Kingston was... No, I was always. I actually never trashed it. That's a lie.
Except on Twitter.
I just said I hate the game. I didn't say it was a bad game. One villager, sorry, focusing on the game now. One villager did go down there from Valas, and Kingston gets some decent trades in the early game, but Valas gets ahead in terms of military right now at the cost of one villager. Kingston on the way up to Castle.
It was just an opinion. Yeah, true. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it was just an opinion. Nothing wrong with that. I actually never said it was a terrible game, by the way, in public. Not much in private either.
Okay.
Maybe once or twice. Second archery range coming up now for Kingston.
Oh, what? Siege Workshop or what? By Valas?
Looks like he wants to play aggressively here, sending a forward villager. I mean, Siege Workshop could be nice because it is a crossbow war, but I would suggest he gets University first because Ballistic is the most important upgrade in crossbow versus crossbow fights. Mangonels is going to be obviously a nice way to put pressure on your opponent, potentially break in. Valas also taking the time to go for an outside town center nice and early, by the way. Like that, because you get to secure a little bit of stone and gold when the ones in your base might run out.
Trying to expand to the right-hand side now. Scout already there, awaiting those units. And how did we end up that Kingston is so much later to Castle Age?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him there. Maybe he went into a lot of upgrades early game. Maybe it's the Hindustani savings. The fact that Chinese don't get very much savings in the early game in terms of food. But nonetheless, he finds himself a minute later to Castle Age. Just now it hits there. Goes for crossbow and bodkin instantly. Gets Town Watch, so he's expecting something to come in. But he's not quite sure what it is right now. He hasn't scouted it. Valas going for a Mangonel push. Has some crossbows. And no ballistics just yet. No university because he's on 2 TCs.
How do Gulam do against Shukunu? You have to answer quickly because the game could end in 20 seconds.
Yeah, because hold on, the crossbows are going straight to... Oh, this is terrible. They go straight to his town center. They're going to kill 5 builds and deny the TC. Oh my god, this is absolutely brutal here for Kingston. Not only does he get his TC denied, he loses the villagers and loses access to that gold. It's a big loss right there. Chukunu versus Gulam. I think Chukunu should do just fine. But it's a classic case where if the Gulam close the distance, the Gulam are shredding them. So you probably just need Chukunu plus a meat shield and you'll be fine versus Gulam.
We can ask Kingston later maybe, like why he thought moving out there was ever an option. Big shot here with the Mangonel, didn't find the kills, but got a lot of damage done. I think he's even diving in with the Mangonel, tries to get a ground attack. Nah, goes back, tries to repair. What does he?
He goes back in for another shot. Kingston might punish that. Goes for an attack round here. Villager comes forward in the middle of nowhere. Mangonel survives here, and Valas continues to fight. Kingston does have more than him right now, though. Goes forward. Mangonel shot! Big shot! How can you move forward when you know there's a Mangonel? He does snipe it in the end, though, so not the worst trade ever, but another Mangonel coming up. Valas is now up 13 vills, by the way.
3 TC behind it, completely uncontested. Only now a second TC being built. This is a massive advantage here for Valas.
Yep. I don't know what happened for Kingston here. Really careless, I feel. Going out to make a town center when you know your opponent is probably setting up some sort of push. You know he's faster to Castle Age. All kinds of threats, and he just ignored all of those red flags, it seems.
And he saw the scout, right? He attacked the scout. So he knew that the opponent knew where he was.
And still continued, going for it. Didn't think to pull back, He ignored all the red flags, as we said. Attack round from Valas, lands another decent shot on the crossbows. And it feels like that both players are doing the same thing, but Valas is pulling ahead severely or heavily in terms of economy here. Mangonel trade, though, does favor Kingston there.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad.
Ooh. TC will go up. Kingston obviously will stay in this game for longer. It just feels like late game we already think Hindustani are better. And now it's basically completely off the card that Kingston can force a shorter game.
Yeah, and it comes back to that Chinese pick. Like, why would you pick a civ like Chinese that doesn't get anything special in Empire Wars on a map like this where you're likely just going to be booming to an Imperial Age fight? Chinese are not special in Imperial Age. They're just pretty decent. Valas looking for some more fights on the left-hand side as well. Again, there's no reason for him not to look for fights. He's perfectly safe at home. He's got the walls up and he's got 2 TCs really close to each other up top.
Yeah. And he knows that those TCs are so far away from the opponent's army.
Yeah. So all the tools for Valas to work with now is moving in with some crossbows. 8 crossbows nearly, a very good number, because if you land all the shots, you one-shot a Vil with 1 volley. Very important thing to know if you're the attacker here. And he's got 2 mangonels with them as well.
Mangonels Hill can't really be used, I believe, but still pressuring the town center there. And Kingston, he's trying to make something happen. Valas realizes how far he is. Defensive siege workshop, just plays the long game, gets the upgrades for his units. And that TC at the top, I don't think it can be saved.
Yeah, I mean, the only option you have as Kingston is defensive mangonels, but I mean, while that's a decent option, it's not going to get you too much in terms of offensive value. And you are down 20 Vils here for Kingston, so you need to make something happen. He does have a mangonel going forward now. Does find a villager. Okay, that's something to work with here. But he's taking a lot more damage at home, and that's the big storyline here. That's the big problem.
4 mangonels soon. Repair costs him so much more. I think even maybe just giving up the town center build one a bit more defensively could have been an option. Now builds another siege workshop there at the top, but 4 mangonels, I think some of them even within hill advantage. You can't out repair that.
Yeah. And even if you can, man, you're spending 10 Vils now, full repairing. Town centers, guys, cost so much wood to repair. Not only considering the idle time, but also the wood investment.
Mangonel goes under it. Oh, this is so sloppy. Oh, loses so much HP, but gets 1.
Gets a second? No, not quite. Shoots back, and it's down, yeah. Nice try from Kingston, yeah. Could have been way worse there. Could have been way
Attack at front.
Way worse.
Runs in against the mangonel. Pooh.
Goes back last second. And no cavalry for either player because they simply can't afford it right now. Maybe Valas could afford cavalry if he wants to, but he probably doesn't need to. He decides to go for a castle on the left-hand side. Kind of a random castle. He makes it back home instead. You need it there, but fair enough.
It's just the safe approach.
Yeah.
I think if he was behind, he gets the castle up at the front. He feels like, okay, if we just play late game, it's all good in the hood. Just plays it very defensively.
Oh, Kingston with the mangonel shoots the one that was on the hill. Gets it with the second shot now, though, and will die towards, Valas' retaliation, though. But Kingston, it's always easier to play defensive with the mangonels, by the way. The attacker always has the harder task.
I feel like I always have the harder task, no matter if I'm attacker or defender.
No matter what? Fair enough. And yeah, here the defender, Kingston, just manages to push that all back. And the reason why the defender has the advantage is because the attacker can't see the defender's mangonel, whereas the defender's mangonel will be able to see the attacker. Big shots from Kingston now. Cleans up those crossbows. Nice comeback into this mid-game. Is it enough? Who knows? Imperial Age is coming. But he did okay to claw his way back somewhat.
I think 2 Gulam will clear this one up quite easily, though. Mangonel ground attack, maybe. Okay, dodge for now. By the way, I had some coaching by MBL last week, and he was watching some games with Mangonel micro of mine. Let's say he did not find respectful words.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think we understand each other here, Nili. I can imagine what was said. But I mean, to be fair, he is one of the best mangonel microers in the world, right? So
I always hype him as number 1.
Yeah, he's definitely solid. For me, I think actually Nicov is quite solid. I think Liereyy is better than people give him credit for as well, with onagers especially. But MBL is definitely up there. Gulam's come up, by the way. Big clear up, obviously. Not the most impressive army from Kingston. Just a few crossbows. Easy pickings for the Gulams. If you guys aren't familiar with this unit, new Hindustani unit that does pass-through damage, so Absolutely crazy at dealing with mass units. Has a ton of pierce armor, reminds us of the Husk Girl. And it seems to be the main unit Valas is going to be going for come late game here. Second castle, he wants to make it forward here, Nili.
It reminds us of a Huskal, a Eagle, a Khmer.
Yeah, all in one unit.
And a Scorpion.
He had the Scorpion randomly in there. It really is quite crazy. The only logical counter usually is infantry line or some unique units, but there's not a whole lot of answers to the Gulam. Cavalry does okay, but then again, you go cavalry, you're met with Hindustani camel, you met with halberdiers, so yeah, not a lot of options there.
Yeah, and it also costs nothing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a really strong unit here. It led to one of my best comebacks the other day. I was playing versus Vivi. Don't even remember what tournament it was, but he was leading heavily with mines, and then I managed to get the Gulam and Castle Age, slowly brought my way back, and then ended up destroying him in Imperial Age once I stabilized.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was indeed a cool story. Gulam, pretty crazy. Trebuchet coming out now for Valas. And Kingston, what is he planning? An all-in Castle Age to defend? Oh, surely that's not going to work.
Full knights there. Maybe you can find some villager picks here, but not even that is an option. And yeah, I think this is a game that was also
That's
decided
over.
pretty early, like late Castle Age timing, and then this like suicidal TC. I don't know.
What happened though? Like, why was he up a minute and a half late? Why was his early aggression so like easily cleaned up? What happened with Kingston? I have no idea here.
He went mess farms, did not go. What? Wait. Was deer outside? Oh, he walled his deer out.
Where's the deer?
He built a house, had only one deer in, and I think they ran out. Yeah, and then he walled his deer out. Oh no, it actually ran back in. But he went for so many farms. Also, only 3 on berries.
It's just a bad build, pretty much. Bad build or bad start.
Archer range. Went for both eco upgrades. While horse color was skipped by Valas. Then he simply went for 11 farms compared to 6 farms. Fletching even. Fletching, horse color, 1 deer less.
It all adds up, eh? And then Chinese compared to Hindustani, which is getting a lot of savings. Yeah. Yeah, well played to Valas nonetheless, though. He takes a pretty smooth game. That's probably the smoothest games. It's probably one of the smoothest games I've seen in this tournament, because it just felt like they were doing the same thing, but Valas was just doing it faster and better. So well played to him. He takes game number 3. He's up 2-1, feeling pretty good in the draft for sure. But Kingston still has a fighting chance, of course. It's never over till it is.
Frigid Lake, game 4.
For them. Game number 4 between Valas and Kingston, of course. Valas playing with Khmer here, one of the stronger civilizations on Frigid Lake, but one that's underperforming lately. And then Kingston with Byzantines, civilization that's nearly took down in one of his rounds in the in the round of something, 256, 128, something like that. Yeah, you played against Byzantines, you're playing as Magyars. It was a nice game, actually. That you played. Yeah, it was not a bad game at all. So, Byzantines, Khmer here, Frigid Lake, of course. Let's see the approach that players take and see how big of a role water plays.
Oh, dog first for Kingston. Woo. Okay.
And he's punished Nili. That's why I always say I don't think this is a water map at all. It seems more like a pure land map to me.
Well, it gives you vision, it gives you fishing ships, it can give you military units there as well.
Great arguments, Nili. Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, he doesn't really lose much by going for the dock, because he's able to defend with just a few spearmen here, assuming he gets the walls down. Kingston, of course, cannot sleep on those walls if you want to go for some sort of a dock opening. Spearmen chasing the scouts from Valas. Valas behind us, switching up into a range. No dock from him. Kingston looking to take a little bit of a lead on the water, but sacrificing some land for it.
Massive lead on the water there. Already 0 fishing ships, 0 military out, while getting harassed everywhere. Whew.
Walling up his base though, he's almost fully walled, so he's going to secure that, and then it becomes a game on the water. He's going for a fire galley, Nili. He's grushing the water.
And only losing one villager in exchange and still being open. Let's build some small, tiny, very realistic walls after that.
Oh no, he needs to go finish that wall up top. This wall is not correct. He needs to go up top to finish the walls here. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and do that. So, realistically, guys, to keep a little bit more of a strategic discussion around the water, it is good to go for the water early in some cases, but in this case where you're falling behind a lot, cannot pay off, especially if you decide to go for a fire galley first. So, Kingston might have had to open with some fishing ships. But he's first checking to see if his opponent is on the water. So he's going to make one fire galley, then make fish afterwards, most likely. Will it pay off? I'm not a huge fan of the strategy opening just yet, but I think he'll get some advantage from the water in general here. He's still open, by the way. He needs to wall that up. Yep.
Whew, was close. I think there's still potential for some holes, though, right? So many pillared walls next to buildings. It feels like mainly walled now, though.
Yeah, no, I think it is fully walled, but the thing is, hold on, like... Scouts and archers can actually break very quickly, by the way, but there is a counterattack from Kingston on the other side. He will find a very big hole, and he's just going to walk straight into the opening. Valas does have the houses to garrison, playing as Khmer. No fletching on these archers. I hate it. If you're going to counterattack, you need fletching. I'm sorry.
I think if I'm Khmer and have the houses that close, I try to fight with the villagers a bit, try to get like 2-3 hits, and only then jump into the houses.
I agree. I think you should definitely make use of the villagers fighting in that case.
Oh, scouts trapped!
Wow.
Scouts were trapped! How did that happen?
Crazy. Valas was not paying attention to the archers. He was hitting the wall, and then the spears got too close. By the time Valas realized scouts were trapped, all the scouts go down. He did trade 4 spears, but that's a really nice bonus there. Kingston made a second fire galley. Make fishing ships, man. It's so important to get the fish out early if you want to go for the water. Not a fan of how he played out. He's making me look bad right now, Nili. I swear.
Okay.
But he's playing a tight defense though. He didn't lose a whole lot. Lost one villager back home. Took a nice trade there and will look to develop into the castle. He gets fletching now. What's the point of getting it now instead of earlier? If you skip it till this point, you just skip it till castle age. You just get a faster castle time.
I'm a bit surprised as well.
Really
Has some archers still at home. Could rewall his gold at the front as well. And look at that. Like, mill. He had to build a new mill to farm around that area. The one at the front, berries now running dry. Has to build a market as well, trying to get to castle age. And now we will have an awkward transition. All those villagers getting idle from the berries.
Yeah, and this is why I love Khmer personally, because you make a ton of farms. You don't need to make another mill. You don't even need your main mill to be in a good position, which for Valas right now, it's not. So you get a ton of farms, and it's so consistent. Valas can do this every single game with Khmer, and it's very hard to punish, right? Because the farm placement can be anywhere. You get off to a really nice start with the military production buildings here. Kingston is up to castle age though, and I feel like Byzantines shine as the game goes on. They get the cheaper Imperial Age. They get very nice counter units. Camels, of course, for me, the MVP for Byzantine.
Forward Siege Workshop. And Valas sent those 2 villagers quite early. They arrive a minute early here.
He's going to have to make a lot of houses here with them. Or he can go for a really deep position, maybe. But, like, yeah, he's already there, bro. There's not much more to run.
Yeah. The awkward thing.
I even feel Nili when I'm forward with villagers and I don't want to leave them idle, but I have too many houses. What do I do with them? Like, what can you do?
Shift click them in a circle or in a heart shape.
So you don't have idle? Okay.
Yeah.
And so they're not just standing still? Okay, that's fair.
Right,
not a bad idea, actually.
Bottom? Not too much should happen.
Yeah, small harass. Looks like Kingston just clears that up. Valas, is he going for mainly knights? He's only on 1 stable, 2 ranges. So it looks like it's mainly range units, but just a little bit of knights.
It's quite some skirms and has lots of resources. That feels like ballistic, double town center, and siege workshop.
I don't think he's going to go for double town center. I think he goes for just 1 because what's more likely... Okay, he goes for 1 here. Let's see if he goes for the second. I hate that town center position, by the way. On the main gold, really not a huge fan of that. Much rather... Okay, he's going to go for double town center. Nili, you were right about that. I like the second TC placement a lot better, though. It's on the back. It's on wood and gold. First one is... I'm not a fan of that one. And he's going to go double TC and push. The reason why I'm not a fan of this, though, is it feels like now his push is going to be pretty weak. And I've tried this in a rated game the other day. I did double TC and push, and my conclusion was that it's just too hard to afford everything. If you want to go double TC, you make the siege workshop at home. That was my conclusion.
Okay. What was your civ and how quickly did you get castle age? Because this one
yeah,
is a bit longer in feudal age, right? It was not like the super rush to castle.
that is true. I was Burmese. I got to castle rather quickly, like maybe 9 or 10 minutes. I don't remember exactly. Maybe 10:30, and I was much faster than my opponent. So I thought I had a lot of time, but really your opponent just has a ton of army by the time they reach castle age, so it ends up being pretty awkward. But focusing on this game here, Valas breaks through. Kingston trying to re-wall, but re-walling versus Mangonel's a very difficult task. Doesn't have a lot of space to work with. Oh, defensive Mangonel, beautiful.
That was risky by Valas, staying in there.
Very.
He
very
probably
risky.
didn't see it yet.
No, I think he knew about the siege workshop. He has really good scouting into the base, and I think his archers were quite deep.
He knew.
Yeah.
What did he?
5 fishing ships out in the field right now for Kingston, so he's getting some payback from that water investment now. He's adding a second town center on the bottom, getting harassed a little bit, but has the crossbows to deal with those small units. And maybe another town center from Kingston, but he did sell his stone by the looks of things, so only 2 TC for the time being. Does have the dock and compensation though.
Now buying stone back to get to more town centers. Won't be that pretty. Should be the advantage there for the Khmer player economy-wise. Some investment at the top. One will down. Kingston a lot of pressure here.
Mangonel, yeah. Whenever you lose Mangonels on defense, it just snowballs so fast and so quickly. You're not really able to react in time sometimes. With more Mangonels, more defensive options. Maybe the monk can help here. But Kingston's losing a lot up top. He's going for a counterattack, by the way, with some crossbows. I like the energy with the counterattack. I like the idea, but it's about to get a very, very difficult game for him right now. So he's got to defend Mangonels and also pay attention to his counterattack.
Loses the ship even. Luckily for him, like, there's not much army out for Valas. I'm a bit surprised he completely stopped production, except his Mangonels.
Which makes sense, because he's on 3 TC. It's hard to afford it, right? Yeah, just delayed a little bit, the 3rd TC. Goes for a siege workshop on the front, might lose a couple villagers here. If he had just delayed his 3rd TC, he could have a lot more production of crossbows here for map control. Could have switched into knights, he had some options. But, I mean, going 3 TC, not necessarily bad.
Those villagers building the siege workshop. I'm not sure if that is really the best place, but he only fights one single villager kill? What?
Yeah, that was really weird. And on the other side, we saw a 1-for-1 trade for Kingston, so he's still managing to hang on, but never push back on top. Seems to be okay for Valas right now. He's getting some Scorpions, Khmer Scorpions, of course, with an extra range, outranging the crossbows, feeling pretty good about that.
And obviously produces faster than the Mangonel. Didn't really feel like, okay, at the timing to get the Mangonel out. Mangonel dance, it's so tricky. Oh, but crossbow are squeezing in. Eats a big one.
Yeah, and the Scorpion pushes away the crossbows from from Kingston, but I mean, Kingston's okay. He's down 10 vills, yes. He's cleaning up the Mangonel push with 1 knight. Love to see that. Where is Valas' army forward? He lost everything here. And Kingston has a better civ going into mid-late game. This reminds me of the Cuman game versus Berbers. He's down vills, but he manages a better late game. Oh my god!
It's just that he simply stopped producing crossbow. For the defense and for the aggression.
Not sure why either. Like, isn't crossbow... If you tech into crossbow, obviously you don't want to play like full Arbalest long term with Khmer, but if you tech into crossbow, don't you want that to be your main unit for the early game? For the mid game?
For the protection there?
I would go in, by the way, if I'm Kingston there. You definitely go in there. It's 1 Scorpion, but you get few vills for sure every time.
Against Khmer, you probably get fewer, but yeah. I think committing there, you get some. The question though,
you don't get much.
No, well, you can upgrade them eventually, right? Arbalest not unlikely. Both players opting for TC4, by the way.
Yep, yeah, interesting. Not 100% sold on that idea because I feel like going for a faster imp, especially with Byzantine, makes more sense. Khmer 4th TC is pretty justifiable. And crossbows here have the potential to do a lot of damage. The knight comes in for the mangonel. Crossbows are on the town center. He finds the damage after all. Great split micro from Kingstone here. Well played.
Ooh, find some beautiful stuff. All crossbows dying though, but yeah, Scorpion can't do much against the knight anymore. It's just so weird how many resources Valas is constantly floating.
I'm really not sure. It felt like he maybe didn't have a game plan going into the mid game. Kingstone's been constantly fishing all the lakes as well, which doesn't play a huge role now that there's like 3-4 town centers on the field, but definitely a small advantage for him to have that water. It lets him delay his farms. He now picked up heavy plow. University coming down for Valas as well. Valas looking towards Imperial Age. What army composition do you go for Imperial Age? I feel like Khmer, one of the more awkward Imperial Age civilizations, especially early on.
I think you go for an army composition that you won't like. Skirm Hassa.
Why not Bless Hussar? What's the logic behind skirms?
I think you're mainly facing Halberdier, Skirm, Arbalest yourself.
Okay, so you want to get Skirm to get ahead of the game. You save your gold for siege. Definitely feels viable. Yeah, he's adding in some range. I probably prefer Arbalest though, just because you probably want to attack as well, and I'd rather have Arbalest to attack and to try to secure ground than skirmishers. Feel like it's the better idea. But we'll see. Both are obviously viable here for Valas.
Also, if you go skirmishers, you're using your farm bonus a bit more, but I can see that that's minimal.
You're also overloading your food. It's a little more complicated. You're also overloading your food. You can't have like a billion farms to support like skirmers and hussars right away. So I'd agree with that concept late game, but not right away in early imp.
I think you actually, if you go those Skirm Hassa, which is obviously questionable, but if you want to play it, you basically reach imp with only like 8 villagers on gold.
Yeah, and then you have like 45 farmers, something like that, and it gets a lot more viable for sure. Yeah, it's definitely not the worst idea. Like Skirm Hussar is actually pretty decent. Skirm Cavalier also a possibility here. Looks like it's going to be Arbalest as a first option for Valas. Could easily switch into skirms and some cavalry later on. But he's going to keep committing to a forward castle here. So he wants to go Arbalest, forward castle. Versus Byzantine, forward castle is risky because they have really good defensive options versus that.
I think it's a really bad choice. Like, you don't think you should have an eco advantage. Byzantines are just so much better. Like, they can get to bombard cannon. They castle have more HP. Like, that's just counting that the opponent is not really set up for imp.
Yeah, you're playing into Byzantines, whereas Khmer wants to have the castles back home and set up those, big, like, stretched out late games where you have hussars going everywhere, and not so much that fight in one position. It's not really a death ball composition that you go with Khmer usually. Let's see, the war galley coming out for Kingstone. So now we see the map control aspect of water, but he did lose both galleys he had to the castle. Pretty sloppy stuff there. Water doesn't play a huge role in late game, but you could have a couple cannon galleons come out. It can be very annoying. So there is some plays there.
No, I think heavy demo cannon galleon is a bit how you want to play it.
Yeah, with just a couple war galleys if you want to just control maybe some land units if they're trying to pressure onto you.
Okay, crossbow finding quite some damage here, surprisingly.
Arbalest now the choice for Kingstone. Interesting that he's not going for the counter units, not bothering with skirmisher despite having cheaper skirms as Byzantine. This means that he's staying flexible. Arbalest to defend. If the guy goes light cav, you have a good unit versus it. Defensive castle now for Kingstone, and he's keeping pretty safe. Relic count 1-1 right now.
Population pretty even. This could be another long game. We have the aggression from the Khmer player, but we also feel Byzantines will likely show a good defense. And then we go into Trash War with two of the civs that are the best in Trash Wars and long drawn-out games.
Yeah, it actually is crazy because I used to think that Byzantines have the best trash units over Khmer, and there's some truth to that, but the Khmer farms play a massive role in the late game here. Valas, interesting decision. He goes for docks on the water, so he's really valuing water in this early Imperial Age.
Khmer have fast fires, Byzantines obviously as well, better ones if we get to that spot, but right now it's simply 3 dock, and therefore you should easily reclaim the water.
Yeah. I don't know what that does for you long term, but you reclaim it and you don't have to worry about cannon galleon. And I mean, it definitely gives you the middle of the map, so it has some merit to it. Valas pushing it on the right hand side.
Okay, controlling this area. Relic-wise, we're looking at 2 to 1 right now. Extra golds? I don't even know where they are. One at the bottom when it comes to golds. And the other one to the left-hand side. Okay.
Pretty well balanced there. There's also a gold that that Valas can use up in his base, one of his golds. Bombard cannons now coming out for Kingstone, and that is the big difference between Khmer and Byzantines in fights like this. By the way, Valas went 4 docks and made no units. What is this?
Maybe wanted to force an overreaction. He made War Galley upgrade.
Then decided not to do anything with it.
I don't mind it too much, honestly. This is army that if you had like 2 bombard cannons now, this army will do nothing.
How can Khmer add bomber cannons?
You can't.
Yeah. Which is the big problem, right? Because like you force them to make navy, which is fine, but the navy gets some value. It kills the dock, and it's gonna be around, and it's gonna be annoying. 4 trebs for Valas. I don't know, man. Kingstone has more options. Valas has more resources, but he needs to. He's now going fast fire ships, but he just wasted 4 docks. Yeah. It's so weird. Valas is all game. He's not been making military when he needed to. I feel like one cannon gets sniped though. Well played from Valas there on that end.
Kingston wants a full map, just like he wanted to on Arabia. Didn't have the time for it, but wanted to go for the setup. I think I'd like to see some rams here from the Khmer player.
Rams are not bad. I'm not a huge fan of them though, because that actually opens up onagers, and onagers are really good with Khmer because no bombard cannons now. Cannon Galleon is going to be the siege of choice, by the way, for Kingstone, but that's not very good considering Valas can actually go for docks on the other side and then go fast fires to clean up Kingstone. So Cannon Galleons are good, let me rephrase that, but it's just a risky option to go for.
You need to protect them so well.
Yeah,
that's why I also said you need to have demos there.
Demos also can give you value against land units passing through, so it's definitely a logical choice to go for. Not the least on the Cannon Galleon, but crop rotation coming in for Kingstone. I'm pretty sure that doesn't pay back in time, does it? For Empire Wars?
Crop rotation pays off after 45 minutes, so this is basically only to boost your score.
Yeah, it's doing very little. It's a good upgrade to get if you're playing a super drawn out late game in random map, but on Empire Wars with these settings, it's really not the most useful upgrade.
Yeah, we need a change there. I think I already talked about it in the balanced Discord.
A change to crop rotation? Yeah. I mean, why not just make it give an extra +1 carry like
that was the suggestion.
Yeah, that seems very logical to me. 4 trebs up top for Valas,
I think
by the
villagers are already at the maximum capacity, right? In carrying stuff.
What do you mean?
I think there's... I might be confused there. I think there was not an option for some reason.
Oh, okay. I don't understand with that kind of stuff. I hear things, but nothing concrete.
I think, for example, like... if you have the +1 carry from the second farm upgrade, plus ad stacks, plus handcard, I don't think everything adds up.
So the assets is already some loss, pretty much?
I'm not sure. No, I'm mixing stuff up.
Okay, no problem. We can talk about it afterwards when we get all the facts in order, no problem. Siege Engineer's coming in, by the way, for Valas, so he's looking to make the most out of his trebs, which he actually got in and out with 4 trebs there. Sniped a couple of town centers, left Kingstone in shambles, and then just simply left. Sneaky stables on the bottom, by the way. How did Valas manage that?
One sneaky villager that was building some outposts, and then he felt like, okay, let's go for it. Some Arbalest and skirmishes, also finding some villager kills. Obviously not the most important thing. Both players looking at really healthy villager numbers.
And now we see Valas back on the water, guys. A lot of action everywhere. Big army on the front for Kingstone as well. Running into Valas. Valas is on the hill there. Kingstone could take the fight if he wants to here. Both players have a healthy population, but I feel like Valas has a lot more resources in the bank and a little bit more space on the map to work with here.
Would love to see like 20 stables added by him, or like 10 stables. Now fast fires will deal with those cannon galleons. Great moves on this hybrid map. Fishing ships actually should have been deleted already.
Yeah, fishing ships completely idle, is just soaking up 6 or 7. Was that 7? Soaking up 7 population. That's a pretty big deal. Cannon galleons forced back. Fast fire ships are making short work of those guys, and that's the big problem. That's why I don't like cannon galleons on this map. It's the danger. It's a good unit, but there's a big danger that they should get sniped by a water transition.
Crazy idea. Valas continues to play Trash War for another 20 minutes. And then goes for a full elephant switch.
I like it. But probably ballista elephant or regular elephants? Regular elephants probably better, yeah. Your opponent's not really on halberdier. You catch him off guard. It's a really good way to end the game, yeah.
Yeah, they will go for more halberdiers because you're going skirm hussar for 20 minutes, right? But then you just stop hussar production and go for 30 elephant, 40 skirm, 5 ram.
Yeah, run in one shot. Yeah, it's a really good way to end the game, actually. I've learned about that concept recently. What is that, a year and a half ago? I used to never really think to do that, to like prepare a switch, but I learned about that concept recently, and it's a great way to surprise your opponent and get a nice big switch one shot. Fast fire ships fighting on the mainland as well. We can see Valas picking up all kinds of upgrades right now. He's getting pikemen, he's getting architecture. Now this, not only does it give him different options, but it also gives him extra score going into the late game. It's good to think about these things early. Getting extra upgrades and boosting your score is a fantastic way to set up here.
The wait for elephant technique, by the way, is not recommended for Twitch streamers, because if you die on the way to it and have 3k gold in the bank, Twitch chat will go ape crazy.
Yeah, but you only go for that when you can't die, to be fair, when you're stabilizing, when it's a stalemate, you know? Yeah, but you gotta... I mean, for me, I don't have that problem of like dying with gold. I have the problem of I'm dead because I'm getting like raided heavily. There's no time on the map to do anything, and then I look at my chat and they're just like, yeah, just go paladins with Persians when I was playing crossbow and light cavalry in Castle Age, and they want me to just tech into paladin. So that's the problem I have. Unrealistic unit expectations.
Oh yeah.
Is that a hole on top? No. Kingstone loving his stone walls, by the way. 5,000 HP? No, that was the tree. Okay, 2,500
A tree? What tree did you have with 5,000 HP?
No. I selected a lot of trees and it gave me 5,000 HP or something like that.
Hold at the
multiple
top.
walls. I'm not sure what it was, honestly. Oh, it was 2 walls. It was 2 walls.
Okay.
Gates and a castle on the right-hand side now as well. Valas with Trebs with Siege Engineer, by the way. Those are hard to deal with.
Oh yeah, lovely moves. By the way, still no fortified walls, something that's super cheap and adds quite some value as well.
You probably always just go fortified walls if you bother walling the sides like this. Camo for Kingstone being set up. Not a lot of gold left for him, not a lot of resources, period. But still hasn't deleted his fishing ships, it's nasty. Getting raided with the stars on the back. I feel like Kingstone is starting to struggle a lot more. Valas is cruising this one though.
Feels like it. Like, it's just like, when was the last raid against Valas? When did he lose his last villager defensively?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Just the water. Like, the only offensive play Kingstone's has is the water, but like, is that really even offensive? There was a hole there in the end between the wall and the tree.
It's 2022. I think nowadays everything can be offensive to someone.
That is true, yeah.
Still 3 traps. It's tough to repair against that.
Yeah, Siege Engineers as well, it does more damage. I always stress that. I think that's a really good upgrade. Hussars running in. This is why I love the Hussars. You just run in, you snipe 1 cannon, it's worth it. 10 Hussars, it's worth it. Look at that. He might even get both cannons. Look at that. Crazy. Oh, crazy stuff there.
Massive market users now, just to allow himself to repair. Camels are now diving in. And that... Castle still dies!
4 Trebs there. Trebs will die in exchange here, but that's definitely worth it for Valas because you got amazing trades, forced Kingstone to buy all kinds of resources to repair, and you know what? It's not going to town limit Nili. GG's called. Valas takes the game with 6,000 food in the bank to spare here.
Weird GG timing. He just cleared this up. He stabilized with the villagers after losing so much at the bottom. Did he think he would like never win the game on score?
Yeah, I mean, 4,000 score behind and you're not ever pushing back. Like he's just stabilizing. He's got no resources. He's got no bank. So yes, he's got population, but he just lost his arbalest on the left hand side. All he's got is the water, which isn't getting him too much. Maybe a weird timing, but yeah, it's definitely GG 100%.
In my books, halberdiers are a better option than camels here.
Yeah. Camels are very underwhelming in Imperial Age. Actually, it's something I've noticed. I remember it takes me back to the game I played against Viper in Hidden Cup, famous game on Cross, Byzantine versus Huns. I went for camels and I realized that it's too easy to defend against them because they die to arrow fire and all kinds of arbalest heavy cav archer, and so you're better off going halberdier, which is cheaper and accomplishes the same thing. So yeah, another cool story for you guys.
Cool story, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Atacama will be game 5.
13k more res for Valas there.
Now I'm talking about game 5, Valas against Kingstone. And we see a stable opening from Valas. On the other side, stable opening from Kingstone as well.
And the bonuses for Magyars and Huns are both geared towards the same units, but they happen in very different ways. Valas, of course, with Magyars gets the free forging, gets the cheaper scouts. Huns, on the other hand, for Kingstone, you get faster working stable. You obviously save wood because you have less houses, and then you get cheaper cav archers come mid game. So both these saves are quite similar, but they play out in quite different ways in the end, with their power specs coming in different ways. Kingstone is looking for a dock, by the way. One of the classic questions on this map, is the dock worth it? Feels very hard to manage it.
Also, he wants to go for an archery range pretty early, which will mean very limited fishing ship production. I'm a bit surprised by this approach. Dock plus archery range? No, he drops farms? Why if he drops farms, he still has 4 on gold? Oh, he will have so many resources that he won't use.
Yeah, this is weird. And he's going to the deer. You just use the gold vills on deer. That's why they're there, right?
I thought so.
That's really weird. Yeah. That's really weird. Big pressure though from Valas coming in with the Magyar scout. Look at that on top. Already picking up a villager, trading against the scout on the bottom as well. Doesn't quite kill the vill, but forcing a lot of idle time. And it's this pressure that makes people crack, by the way. Fishing ships coming out. Gold starting to stockpile for Kingstone. Maybe needs to consider a range. Sends 3 vills forward.
Woodline?
Scouts.
Still no archer ranges? Oh god, this could be a short game. Like so many, like he's spreading himself too thin here, I believe.
Yeah, he's doing literally everything. He's got very little on food right now. He's trying to do way too much.
Scout fight also against Magyars there without spearmen. Villagers idle. Ay.
Like Valas seems like he's gonna get the same amount of things out of it. He's going for the dock now. He's just taking it step by step. He opened scouts. He took the deer instead of staying on gold, and now he's going towards the center. Only after that going for the dock. So Valas ends up with the same position pretty much, but just gets the aggressive foot to start things off.
Wood upgrade now for Kingstone. Still like no second production, and if you just play full stable barracks against Magyars, that wouldn't make you happy.
Scout goes down. Yeah, you don't want to play long-term scouts against Magyars. I'm okay with the scout opening, but only for switching at some point to archers. Double stable, no! That's so incorrect. That couldn't have been further from the correct choice versus Magyars, honestly.
400 gold in the bank.
Yeah. And he's not going to be able to spend gold besides 100 for Bloodlines here.
Jordan played this matchup with triple archer range as Huns.
Yeah. You kind of have to because you can't play full scouts, right? Your bonuses come in different ways. You save wood, so archers makes more sense. You want to play cav archers, so archers make more sense. A few scouts also is fine because you get the faster working stable. So one stable gives you a lot of value.
Okay, Bloodlines will be earlier though. That's late for Valas. Maybe there's a timing window where you get an advantage. But no, Bloodline's now coming in as well.
Oh, yeah, 40 seconds. 2 of the scouts are very low for Kingstone, by the way. I hate that. When you go Bloodlines... Oh, wait, hold on. Valas fighting, okay.
Probably didn't check the upgrades correctly. That's a great fight for Kingstone.
Yeah, that's what he needed, actually. So now Valas, he's low HP when Bloodlines is going to be kicking in for him. Back home, he's on double stable, adding a third stable, triple stable Valas Magyar scouts. My favorite strategy to go for is full scouts. Loving to see this here deployed from Valas. And I like that he took the time to get a DauT as well. I would have been worried without the DauT that he might fall behind. With the DauT, feels like he's going to be in a great position no matter what happens here in the early game.
So fully upgraded scouts from both players. Hans double stable, 3 stable Magyar. You know that I'm a big fan of trying to get a forward tower up now against Kingston. And look at that.
My god,
Valas.
as you say it. Yeah, Valas seems to agree with you there. Big fights on top. Upgrades exactly the same. The scouts are cheaper for Magyars. That's the only advantage on the field right now. And it seems to be just enough because he's outmassing with those cheaper scouts. And now in comes the forward tower. I love the walls from Valas. Those middle walls are super annoying. You just make some walls there, and you prevent your opponent from moving through the middle woodlines. As we saw that in the Jordan series as well. It's a really good way to make use of them.
Kingston, 3rd stable, while he has 6 on gold. He needs to drop a market now, otherwise this makes 0 sense.
Yep. And maybe that's what he's working towards. Maybe he's gonna mine some gold. He's got a stone set up. He could go for a big market play and look to win that way. But Valas is taking massive advantages the longer the feudal age goes on.
Yeah, production continues. And we have 2 on gold on the other side. Now berries run dry. Our wood income is not pretty. Oh boy, big scout fight.
Hard to say who's winning. It looks like Valas though. Valas goes back despite having 200 more collective HP there. What?
Yeah, he would have won that one quite easily. It was 11 against 8.
It's sometimes hard to judge in-game though, to be fair, in all fairness. But that one was pretty significant win. Another fight goes down. Valas again with more HP total. But this time the choke is a little bit awkward.
Oh, the gate actually blocking his own reinforcements. Maybe could have gone for that one a bit later. Why are we not adding spearmen here?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it feels like both sides should be adding in some spearmen actually. Valas forward and Kingston defensively.
Oh, next tower. We have 3 on stone. Defensive tower by Kingston. I like that one.
That one. Yeah, very good. Because that one's going to be able to counter the one coming up. And also, one day, kill the one that's already built here. But the gates from Valas is allowing the scouts to pour in. And Valas seems to be overwhelming Kingston with the scout numbers now.
Military count 14 against 4. More scouts are falling. Looking rougher and rougher for Kingston. 600 gold floating now. Finally the market.
Market's coming in too late though. And wow, GG's called. GG, well played. And 4-1 for Valas. He moves on to the main event. Clap in the chat for the Finnish guy. He joins Villese in the main event. Well played to Valas there. And a pretty dominating series, Nili. That was quite convincing, actually. Well played.
Agreed. We probably have to question Kingston for some of his choices here, but Valas, that looked clean and just a straightforward, really good execution, and obviously the biggest win of his career.
Yeah. He must be absolutely ecstatic right now. Kingston, once again, another up-and-coming player. We're going to see big things from him in the future, most likely. He's doing better and better in these tournaments as time goes on. Hope he keeps his head up high and his motivation going because, he's a very dangerous player. But unfortunately, today, he just got bested by Valas. And congratulations to him once again.
Yeah, really nice stuff there for sure. I just think if you play against Magyars, you have to go for something that isn't full scouts, trying to match the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. A little bit of scouts is fine. Using the Huns faster stable, but play with archers. You need to try something else. Magyars always win the scout wars.
Hello, Valas?
Hello.
Hello. I hear you smiling. So, obviously the biggest win of your career. So many eyes on you, massive amount of viewers, and you will make it to Heidelberg. How do you feel? How important was the set to you?
Of course, very important. It's my by far biggest victory. I've been playing for so long that feels good to win something finally.
Nice. Maybe give us a bit of your background in the sense, how long have you been playing and how did your preparation look like, let's say, the last month for this tournament?
So I've been playing since 2015, so 7 years. I started preparing like at the start of August. I was mainly playing ladder for the rating at first, but then I practiced some private as well.
Okay. With whom did you practice privately? The Finns is what we would assume?
No, like Villese is already in, and I didn't know if Max is gonna play.
Okay.
So I played with the Bars and Ganshi mostly.
Okay. Well, showed for all three of you. Really nice stuff. And now you went into the finals against... Oh, first of all, last week you played against Daniel, and he had a crazy performance winning 4-0. What did that make with you?
Like, I was disappointed, but he played so well. Like, I don't think if I played my best, I don't think I would have won that day.
Okay, sick. And then going into this one, now you faced Kingstone, potentially not the opponent you expected in the finals. How confident were you going into the set?
Well, I knew I was the favorite, and the first game kind of gave out that I'm probably the better player here, so it was giving me a lot of confidence.
Okay, but then confidence a bit cracked in game 2, where you had Cumans, probably a civilization that we consider really strong and enclosed, and he got a W playing Berbers.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure how far I was ahead, or was I even ahead?
You were slightly ahead, but then your push towards Imp obviously didn't do that much, and he could get 2 camel archers.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to kill on that map unless you have a position forward.
Yeah. And then you played Outcrop with Hindustanis against his Chinese, and you both kind of went for the same approach, going for crossbow, and you found those villagers outside, putting you in a great spot. What was going through your head? Like, is it more like, okay, how do I finish the game? Or is it more like, how do I safely continue from here?
Just safely, like I was booming to Cumans basically. I didn't really have to do anything else.
Mm-hmm. And then Frigid Lake. We are going into Khmer Byzantine. Pretty late game. What is the ideal army composition that both of you could have gone for? We were scratching our heads a bit. Going like more hussars, mainly skirm. You used your traps beautifully. What do you think he could have gone for as an army comp as Byzantines?
I think we both did the right units. Yeah. I'm not sure what could go differently there.
Okay. Well, it is a tough matchup there for sure. And he went for similar units, and you just broke him. Nice raids there, working pretty sweet. And, well, in the end, you are going through to Heidelberg and playing $200,000 tournament. Now the question, what are your ambitions in the tournament?
Well, I'd say like move on from the group stage to top 8 maybe.
Okay.
But this is already like a big achievement for me.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, pretty happy for you, Valas. And you're back, right? Qualifying in the 4th one, missing out on the 5th one, and now back with the biggest edition yet. Wish you all the luck, and happy to meet you in person. And see you there. Congrats.
Thank you.